everyone, what's up? I hope you all have an amazing weekend like I am. Okay, so first of all, I'd like to show you guys what I got from Walmart. It's gonna be very helpful when I'm making tutorials. So I got this dry erase board. Well, it's not a board, it's like a paper, but it's reusable. It's gonna be very helpful. It's gonna come in handy when I'm making tutorials. Okay, so let's just get straight into it. In this tutorial, I made a pencil skirt with a sheer panel and a solid color panel. It's very easy, guys. You guys can even take a pencil skirt that you no longer wear. Just cut maybe like half of it away, like the bottom half, just throw it away, and just attach a sheer panel and a solid color panel. And I also made a matching crop top. I hope you guys find this video to be very helpful, and if you ever make this skirt or crop top, just share it with me on any of my social media at Timmy Marie. Okay, so I'm also gonna be giving away 1 yard of the Ankara fabric I'm gonna be using for this project. If you guys are interested, just check the description box on how to win this fabric. It's like, if you want to win this fabric, just make maybe the skirt or the crop top and share it with me on any of my social media, and you might win. You never know. So for this project, I used Ankara African print fabric for the main skirt. You guys can use any type of fabric. I used a non-stretch fabric, so I needed a zipper. Obviously, I used an invisible zipper for my skirt and for my crop top. You guys can use any type of fabric, it doesn't matter. You can even use a stretch fabric, just use what you have at home. I also used a sheer fabric for the sheer panel, and I used a black sheer fabric, and I also used the black solid color fabric for the bottom of the skirt. So you guys, I don't know, just be creative and use whatever you have at home or whatever you think it's gonna look good on the skirt. And for the crop top, it's just a regular simple sleeveless crop top, so it's very easy to make. You guys don't have to even make the crop top. I wanted something to go with the skirt, and I just thought it was gonna be cool to make a matching crop top with the pencil skirt. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel and share my videos. You can also follow me on any of my social medias. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it actually. Yeah, so my social media username is at Timmy Marie, so you guys should check me on there, follow me, and I have a lot of amazing fashion DIY projects coming up. You guys don't want to miss out on that. Thank you so much. Bye. This is the fabric I'm going to be using for the main skirt. I'm also going to be giving away 1 yard of this fabric. If you guys are interested, just check the description box below for information on how to win this fabric. I'm also going to be using a sheer black fabric and a solid black fabric for the panels. I'm going to make my skirt from scratch. But if you guys don't want to make your skirt from scratch, you can just take a pencil skirt that you already have at home. Just cut it maybe in half or something, like that. And attach the sheer panel and the solid print panel. But if you guys want to make your skirt from scratch, then you can follow these instructions I'm about to give. Okay guys, so I'm going to start out by drafting the pattern for my pencil skirt. I'm going to draw a long vertical line that measures how long I want my main skirt to be. Actually, it's going to measure how long I want the Ankara part of my skirt to be. By the way, this is a miniature version of the pattern. It's not the actual, I'm not using my measurements. I'm just using, I made up some measurements so it can fit on this dry erase board. So the length of this miniature skirt is going to be, let's say, 36 centimeters. I'm gonna add 2 centimeters to that number. So 1 centimeter is gonna be for the seam allowance at the top, and the 2nd centimeter will be for the seam allowance at the bottom. Okay, so I'm gonna measure 36 centimeters. So just take the measurement of how long you want the print part of your fabric to be, add 2 centimeters to that number, and just draw a long vertical line like so. So this is my 36 centimeter from here to there. So on this vertical line, at the very top, it's going to be our waistline, and the very bottom is going to be the desired length of our skirt. No, the desired width of our skirt. And I'm first going to measure the length of my hips. So for this skirt, it's going to be 8 inches. So this is going to be the length from your waist to your hips. I'm going to measure 8 inches. So right here is going to be our hips. Right here will be our waist. And this is the desired length. Okay. So on our waistline, we're going to take the measurement for our waist, divide that number by 4. So for this particular skirt, for the miniature pattern, the waist measurement is 60 centimeters. I'm going to divide that number by 4 centimeters, which is going to give me 15 centimeters. I'll add 2 centimeters to that number. The 2 centimeters I'm going to be adding is going to be for our dart, and I'm going to add 1 centimeter, which is going to be our seam allowance. So in total it's going to be 18 centimeters. So remember, for our waistline, I took the measurement from my waist, which is 60 centimeters. I divided that number by 4. Then I added 2 centimeters for our dart. And I added 1 more centimeter for seam allowance, which gives me 18 centimeters for this pattern. Okay, so for our hips line, which is right here, I'm going to take my hips measurement, which is 80 centimeters for this pattern. I'll divide that number by 4 centimeters, which gives me 20 centimeters. I'll add 2 centimeter ease, and I'll add 1 centimeter seam allowance, which is going to give me 23 centimeters. So you're going to do that to your measurement. So I'm going to mark 23 centimeters. For the bottom of our print skirt, it's going to be the same as the hips width. It's going to be the same as this line right here, which is 23 centimeters. I'm just going to do that. Okay, so we are basically done with this part of the pattern. What I'm going to do now is use my French curve ruler. So this is my French curve ruler. I'm going to connect this and this together. I prefer to use this one. I don't know why. I'm just going to use this to connect the... I'm connecting my waist and my hips line together. I'm going to connect this, my hips and my length together. So this is the front pattern for our skirt. For this pattern, we're going to cut it out. I'm not going to cut it out, but I'm just saying, you're going to cut out your pattern if you're making it on a pattern paper. Then you fold your fabric in 2. Then you place this on your fabric. This will be on the folded edge. You place it on your fabric, then you cut it out, and it's going to give you like a wide piece instead of, it's gonna double up. So I'm gonna, for the back pattern, it's basically gonna be the same. It's gonna be exactly the same. Oh, sorry. I forgot to show you guys the dart. Okay, so for our dart, I'm gonna measure, for our dart, I'm gonna measure 8 centimeters inwards like this. So 8 centimeters, like so. This is gonna be the center of our dart. I'm gonna zoom in so you guys can see me. Okay, so I measured 8 centimeters like so. 8 centimeters inwards. I'm gonna measure 1 centimeter on each side of this mark that I made. So after that, I'm gonna drag this point down. Maybe I want it to be about, I want my dart to be about 10, okay, let's say 11 centimeters long, like that. So 11 centimeters long is what I want my dart to be. I'm now going to connect this point to this and that. So this is our dart for the skirt. Okay. So that's the dart for the skirt. So for the back pattern, I'm going to add 2 centimeters to this part here, which is going to be our zipper allowance. So I'm going to measure 2 centimeters at the bottom, like so, and at the top. By the way, I always measure in centimeters, so you guys can measure in inches if that's what you want. But I usually just measure in centimeters. I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to connect my dots. So this is the pattern for the back of my skirt. For this one, I'm going to cut 2 individual pieces. We're not folding the fabric for this part. But for the front part of the skirt, we're going to fold our fabric and cut out this single piece right here. But for the back, we're going to cut out 2 different pieces of the fabric. So we're basically done with our skirt pattern. Well, for the Ankara part of our skirt pattern. Okay guys, so I'm going to draft the pattern for the crop top. I'm first going to start by taking the measurement from my shoulder to the desired length of my crop top. For this pattern, I got 26 centimeters. I'm going to add 1 centimeter for seam allowance at the top of the crop top, and 3 centimeters for hem at the bottom of the crop. Okay, so that's the length of my crop top. I'm now going to mark the length of my bust. The length of my bust for this pattern is going to be 18 centimeter. I'm going to add 1 centimeter to that number for seam allowance at the top. So I'm going to mark 19 centimeters from the top. So our next step is to measure your bust. You're going to take the measurement of your bust. For this pattern, it's going to be 72 centimeters. I'm going to divide that number by 4, making 18 centimeters. And I'll have 2 centimeter ease plus 1 centimeter seam allowance, which is going to give me 21 centimeters. For the bottom of my top, it's going to be the same as this width right here. I also want this to be 21 centimeters. If you want the bottom of your top to be tighter, then you might want to reduce this number right here. So what I'm gonna do now is to connect this line. I'm actually going to extend this line with a different color of marker. I'm extending this line as a guideline because I'm going to need it to measure my arm side depth. So this line doesn't mean anything, I just need it as a guideline. So I'm just going to extend it like so. And it doesn't matter how long you extend it. Or just make sure you extend it past your shoulder length, because my shoulder is right here. Just extend it past that line. That point. Okay. Let me bust the line. You're going to take the measurement of your shoulder width. For this pattern, it's 34 centimeters. You divide that number by 2. So for this pattern, I got 17 centimeters. I'm going to draw a horizontal line that measures 17 centimeters on my shoulder point, which is right at the top of my pattern. So this point right here, I'm going to drop it by 1.5 centimeters. Oops, sorry. Okay, so I'm going to drop it by 1.5, like so. I'm going to connect this point to the edge of my line right there, like so. Now on this line, I'm going to measure my neck hole. You're going to take the measurement of your neck, circumference of your neck. You divide the number by 4. The neck size for this pattern is 28 centimeters. I'm going to divide that number by 4, which gives me 7 centimeters. I'm going to measure 7 centimeters on this new line I just drew. From here. You're going to measure it from here. 7 centimeters. Okay. I am now going to measure my arm side depth. My arm side depth for this pattern is 15 centimeters. So I'm going to measure it from here. Remember my shoulder. I'm going to measure it from my shoulder line down. So 15 centimeters. Like so. 15 centimeters. I'm now going to connect this point, and this point with my French curve ruler to form my armhole. Like so. By the way, this is the front of our top. This is the front of our top. So if you want to transfer this pattern on our fabric, we'll fold the fabric in 2 and cut it out on our pattern. This side will be on the folded part of our pattern. So I'm going to measure how long I want my neck hole to be. For this pattern, honestly, you can make it any length you want, as long as it fits your head. I'm just going to make it, I don't know, I'm just going to put it here. Doesn't matter. Actually, I'm going to extend this point a little bit like so. Because I want my neck hole to be wider. If you want your neck hole to be wider, you can just extend that point. I'm going to connect this point to this point. So this is our neck hole. So when you want to cut this pattern, you're going to cut like so. So that's where you're going to cut out for your pattern, for the front part of your pattern. Okay, so for the back pattern, it's basically the same thing. So this is the length of our crop top. This is the width of the bottom of our crop top. This is the bust. This is, I connected the bust line and the width line. Is that length width line? That doesn't make sense. Okay, so I connected this point and this point together. Then I extended this line as a guideline for our arm side depth. So it's just basically what I did for the front pattern. The only difference is that I'm gonna drop this point right here. Remember I dropped it by 1.5 for the front of our pattern, I'm going to drop it by 2.5. I'm going to drop it by 2.5. And I'm going to connect it to the edge of my vertical line, like so. So I'm going to connect it to the edge of my vertical line. I'm going to measure 15 centimeters. Well, the arm side depth for this pattern is 15 centimeters, which is going to be the same as the front pattern. So I'm just going to measure 15 centimeters from the top there. And by the way, guys, this number, I just made them up. It's not my actual measurements. So I'm gonna make my armhole by connecting these 2 points together. Now that's my armhole. I know it looks weird, but like I said, I just made up the numbers. Okay, so our next step is to extend these lines. I'm gonna extend this line right here. I'm gonna extend it out by 2 centimeters because we want to add zipper allowance. I'm also gonna extend my bust line and my shoulder line. I'm gonna extend them by 2 centimeters for zipper allowance. So I'm actually just gonna extend here and here to connect the lines. It's too long. I'm just gonna try to hide it. Okay. And I'll connect the lines. So that's 2 centimeter zipper allowance. So that's the major differences between the two. So we are now gonna cut out. This is what you're gonna cut out. So this is our back pattern, and that's what you're gonna cut out. So we're basically done drafting our back pattern, and this is gonna be sleeveless. So when we're gonna transfer this pattern on our fabric, we're gonna cut out 2 separate pieces of this pattern. We are not gonna fold our fabric. You're gonna fold your fabric for the front pattern, but not for the back pattern. We need 2 different pieces for this pattern. Okay, so thank you guys so much. Thanks for watching. I hope this was very helpful.